Alright, so everybody knows by now that Ethereum already had its proof of stake merge, and as this article right here by Cointelegraph says, Dogecoin became the second largest proof of work cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin. And this is really bullish for Dogecoin, but like I said in my last video, I think this might be short-lived bullish news because there has been some rumors that Dogecoin might actually be switching to proof of stake as well pretty soon. I did also say in my last video that I was probably going to get this video out on Monday, but I needed to do a little bit more research so that I could bring you guys the best and most comprehensive Dogecoin news out there. So if you really appreciate that, thank you so much for hitting that like button, and let's get into it. This article goes on to say Ethereum's transition to proof of stake may have added pressure on proof of work powered cryptocurrency networks to transition into a more sustainable consensus mechanism. In a statement to Cointelegraph, Lacan Feeney, the founder and CEO of an Australian-based blockchain development agency, Labries, said the pressure is on for Bitcoin now to justify the proof of work system over the long term. And I kind of disagree with that because I don't really think Bitcoin has to justify it at all. It is already justified in my eyes and everybody who actually uses the network. And if they were to move to a proof of stake mechanism, I believe there would be a hard fork just like there has been in the past whenever they change the consensus or anything really major about the project. So if they did have a hard fork, I believe there would be probably the biggest blockchain would continue to be the proof of work one, but if not, then there wouldn't. It's not like it would cease to exist anyway. He added that the reluctance to carry out its own transition to proof of stake will be huge. And like I just said, I kind of disagree with that. But he can say what he wants anyway. Meanwhile, the Dogecoin Foundation has been considering a transition of Dogecoin to proof of stake after hinting at the shift in September of 2021. Such a version would allow the Dogecoin users to stake all of their Doge and get extra tokens for supporting the network, the Dogecoin Foundation said. I'm going to go over what the Dogecoin Foundation has to say about this possible proposed proof of stake switch, and we'll look at the trail map and see what some of the developers have to say about it. But first I want to go over some of these other really big developments that have been happening with the Dogecoin project, because I think they're really huge, and I just want you to stick around through it because it doesn't sound like it's going to be all that interesting at first, but I promise this is probably way bigger than the proof of stake switch anyway. Then at the end of the video, I'm also going to give an update on when the Dogecoin Starlink moon mission is possibly going to be happening, and I'll make it quick, so no skipping ahead and cheating. Thank you guys. Alright, here we have the Dogecoin Foundation website, and this is a project called LibDogecoin that they're working on. This is really important for the Dogecoin development because it's going to streamline the process and make it a lot easier for developers to join the project and to get things done pretty quickly. LibDogecoin is basically a C library, which is code library where they can copy and paste code and quickly implement changes to the Dogecoin network. And according to Mitchy Lumen, it makes much better memory cleanup, higher compatibility, easier build procedure, and simple implementation. Mitchy Lumen is a core developer for the Dogecoin team, and she does really great work. This is going to make it a lot easier for development to happen quicker on the network, and I think this is going to see us have actual new developments coming out more rapidly and seeing Dogecoin's future be implemented quicker. What kind of developments will this make it easier to develop, you might ask? Well, probably some kind of projects like this one right here. This is called GigaWallet, and this is going to probably be one of the biggest and most important projects going forward for the big time mainstream implementation of the Dogecoin network and mainstream adoption. GigaWallet is kind of like a middle step in between you and wherever you want to make a payment or whoever wants to get a payment from you. It basically makes it easier for you to offer a payment to like a retailer, or for you to set up something like automatic payments onto your Dogecoin wallet without actually having to give over all of the information of how much cryptocurrency you have in your wallet or who you are, or the same thing for the retailer, whoever you're messing with. Think about whenever you go and buy something at Walmart, you don't really know about all of the things that are going on with Walmart's finances, like how you can go and track all of those things through the blockchain if you do make a transaction directly with the company. This is going to make it easier for more privacy, and I think this is just going to make it a lot safer for big companies and for social media platforms, game developers, and more, as it says here on the Dogecoin Foundation website, to feel more comfortable implementing Dogecoin and adopting it as an actual payment processing platform that they can use to run their business. I know this is kind of a mouthful, and honestly it is hard for me to understand because I'm not a coder, and I may have missed some really good details, so if any of you guys are coders or know any more about this, just let me know in the comments and I'll be really happy to do another update. Another really big development that's being worked on, and I think that this is probably going to be the biggest one for the Dogecoin standard moving forward from here, is RadioDoze. And this is really going to be great to bring the Dogecoin network to the unbanked around the world and to make it actually a global currency. According to this announcement on the Dogecoin Foundation website, while the GigaWallet project focuses on providing a freely available drop-in solution for internet-based commerce and tipping through standardized non-custodial wallet integration with the Dogecoin network, RadioDoze focuses on using cheap and reliable radio technology combined with the global Starlink satellite network to enable cheaply deployable wide-scale access to Dogecoin for people outside of the reach of the traditional internet infrastructure. So essentially, people that don't have access to the traditional internet, or people that are basically probably living in third world countries, are going to be able to receive these pretty much small radio receivers and then receive Dogecoin wirelessly through a Starlink satellite. This would really be big to bank the unbanked, as like Bitcoin and almost all other cryptocurrencies have been trying to do since the inception of Bitcoin. And in my opinion, this is one of the most promising developments whenever it comes to actually having Dogecoin become the world reserve currency, or to just become the people's currency and actually reduce human suffering. So now you can see that all of those smaller and possibly less talked about developments here are really the more interesting and probably the bigger ones for the future of the project. But now we can get on to some of the other things that you probably want to hear about here. This is the Dogecoin trail map right here, and they go on to talk about the two coins that are starting with D and the Roman denarius that got devalued, and it became pretty much one of the first recorded hyperinflations in history. I made another video about that, which I'll link over here. You guys can go check that out after this one. And then if you scroll down a little bit, they go on to mention, and really they just kind of skim over it right here. It says the foundation is also working with Vitalik, the founder of the Ethereum blockchain, on crafting a uniquely Doge proposal for community staking version of proof of stake that will allow everyone, not just the big players, to participate in a way that rewards them for their contribution to running the network, and at the same time gives back to the whole community through charitable causes. This does sound very promising, but from what I understand up until this point, it's just a proposal, and there's not actually any kind of code that's being worked on, or really any kind of consensus among all of the developers that this is probably a good path to pursue. And there is a lot of concern around the proof of stake switch with Ethereum and how it gives a lot of power to mostly really exchanges that just hold a bunch of cryptocurrency and big players in the project, because you have to have a lot of Ethereum to actually hold a validating position and really run a staking pool. So if that was to happen with Dogecoin, since most of Dogecoin is owned by also exchanges like Robinhood, then that would give them way more control over the project, and that could leave the project susceptible to government implementations of like bans or sanctions or anything like that, trying to control the project, and that's just not what we want to see. If the project does become too centralized in that way, then the government could put pressure on those exchanges like Robinhood and say that they'll be punished if they don't like shut down Dogecoin trading or anything like that. And that's just not the kind of power that we want to give away. So until we do see that there actually is a path forward for not just big players, as this says, to participate in a way that rewards them for their contributions, but gives back to the whole community, then I think that this is probably something that we do need to be very cautious of, and we possibly even need to avoid it, because at least until we see what happens with Ethereum and how the government responds to that possible power that they might have a little bit of access to, then we need to be skeptical. And I think that Dogecoin is really doing well as a proof of work mechanism so far, and I don't really see that much of a reason to change that. Also, I'm not the only one that feels that way. This right here is Patrick Lauder, and somebody asked him about if Dogecoin was going to be moving to proof of stake in 2022, and he said, "Who said that? That sounds a bit crazy. The only thing I've seen besides banter of a draft document that proposed the formation of a private commission that would design something, which I would not support because it reeks of authoritarianism by the people proposing it, and them trying to control Dogecoin. That's, in my opinion, not what the people's coin should be built upon. If someone actually has ideas, just present them. We can always discuss it. Also, there are real hurdles that must be overcome for it to even be feasible. Currently, 2 parties are over 40% of all Doge in custody combined. Proof of stake would mean that they would get a veto. I cannot imagine anyone thinks that this would be beneficial change to the permissionless network. These kinds of things must be addressed. Risk assessment must be made." And I totally agree with that. Like I said, there is a lot of cryptocurrency or Dogecoin that's held in a very centralized group of wallets, and I just think that would give too much power to those people and people that have power over those entities. I'm not saying that I am not interested in a possible proof of stake switch, and I think that it should be discussed, like Patrick Lauder says right here, and we should definitely be open-minded. Of course, I would love to receive some benefits for holding on to my Dogecoin, like especially since I held on to most of it through all of this dip over the past year or so. But if that means that we give all of the power of this potential people's currency of the future away to people that are pretty much running the current situation that we're all dealing with, I think that that's not something that we need to do, and I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Also, as this article by FX Street says, don't stake Dogecoin on Binance. Developers warn Dogecoin holders. Also, don't stake your Dogecoin anywhere because it's not a proof of stake network, and that means that if you are staking it somewhere, then you're really just lending it out to somebody, and they're going to be loaning it out to other people who are going to be taking bigger risks with it than you are. This is the kind of thing that brought down Celsius and ended up with Luna crashing and all of those things as well, with the contagion we saw earlier in the bear market. And we don't want to be seeing this happen with Dogecoin just because a lot of people put their Dogecoin on a staking mechanism supposedly that's run by an exchange that might go out of business in the future, and then you won't get your Dogecoin back. Just a warning, this obviously isn't financial advice, but like I said, if you do lend out a non-proof of stake cryptocurrency, then it's not really being staked, it's just being lent out. I almost forgot to talk about the Dogecoin Ethereum bridge. This article, also on the Dogecoin Foundation website, says, back in 2017, Dogecoin developer Ross Nicole and Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin discussed the possibility of a Dogecoin Ethereum bridge, and a bounty was established by members of both communities to inspire the development of an effective, fair bridge between the 2 blockchains. Since then, Oscar Guindsberg, sorry if I said that wrong, and colleagues have been researching and developing the bridge with the aim of allowing Dogecoin to be integrated into the Ethereum smart contract ecosystem in a safe and secure fashion. Recently, Oscar and co-founder Gabriel Reeder have established Blue Pepper, a commercial startup, to provide a full-time development focus in bridging the 2 chains with WDoge. Blue Pepper has written about the history of the bridge and how it will function, and is in the process of establishing a DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization, of companies, nonprofits, and individuals from the Dogecoin community to govern the bridge protocol. The DAO will be responsible for governing via vote the means to upgrade the bridge's smart contracts and to add custodians or merchants. And so this basically means that apparently the Dogecoin Foundation is joining this WDoge DAO, and that is going to be set up so that people can make decisions by voting on how this Dogecoin and Ethereum bridge is actually going to operate. I am skeptical of bridges because they have been weak points in a lot of projects in the past, offering a backdoor for basically scammers to get a hold of people's cryptocurrency. And a lot of times, whenever these things are compromised, it does bring down a big significant dump into the market. And that's not something that we want to see just because of trying to get onto the Ethereum blockchain, because we obviously can interact with the Ethereum blockchain without using Dogecoin right now. But if this does turn out to be a solid bridge, I think this is going to be a really great thing for the project. However, like I said, I am skeptical because these have always been really a major weak point for projects in the past. On the bright side, in my opinion, though, I think this is going to be a community-run project, hopefully, and I believe that the fact that they have been taking so long to get this thing done means that they're probably trying to make sure that it is really secure, and hopefully they're going to get it done right. Another small piece of news here that you guys may be interested in, the Dogecoin developers have announced that there is a Dogeathon, which is a hackathon for Dogecoin that's going to be held in Australia. And this means that basically they're inviting a bunch of people to try to hack the Dogecoin network, and so that if they do, then they'll get a reward, and then they can fix the problem in the code and make the project a lot safer for us users. So this is something that we want to see, and this basically means that all of these projects that I've been talking about that's going on with the Dogecoin development team are working on making the development process faster, making the project more secure, and making it a lot easier for people to use it around the world, and also to make transactions with merchants and game developers and all of the other things that I mentioned earlier. While some of these things aren't as exciting as burns or anything that seems like it's going to send the project going skyrocketing up to the moon immediately, I think these are really what we need to be seeing going forward for the long-term sustainability of the project, and to see it actually secure its place and become the real people's cryptocurrency of the future. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Dogecoin launch for the Starlink moon mission, supposedly. This is the Geometric Space Corporation website, and as you can see, the Dogecoin 1 mission is still to be determined. I'm pretty sure this Geometric 1 satellite was supposed to launch in like June, maybe, yeah, I think it was this past June, and it says it's to be determined, so apparently that was postponed as well. And honestly, I don't know that this company is really doing all that much. I haven't heard Elon Musk say anything about it, and in my opinion, I would just say that really for peace of mind, we could just say that this is canceled until we hear some new news about it, or really get some confirmation that it's actually going to be happening soon. Even if we got a launch date on here, I don't know if that would solidify anything, because like I said, this one right here had a launch date before, and now it's been postponed apparently. It would be great to hear an update from Elon Musk or something like that, but honestly, I don't really think that it's that significant, because we already kind of saw the pump from the news of this situation happening, and unless the bull market is back on whenever it does happen, I don't think it's going to have that significant of a upward pressure on the project anyway. And I think that basically maybe even that has something to do with what's going on here, and they're waiting for the bull market to come back so that they can get their money's worth out of the Dogecoin that they're spending on sending this satellite to the moon. I know this was a lot to cover, and I hope that you guys kept up with me this long. It was really kind of a little bit complicated with some of these lib Dogecoin things, especially since, like I said, I don't know how to code. But let me know if you guys got any good value out of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'd really love to know what you guys think about the Dogecoin project, or if it's dead like some people are saying. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching again. I love you. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.